Hello and welcome to The Breakdown with Rothman Orthopaedics. I'm your host, Alex Hammond, and it's another year, another special Valentine's Day episode. Today we have a real treat. So this episode, this couple that we're highlighting will feature Dr. Alex Vaccaro, Rothman's president and spine surgeon, and Lauren DeRitis. She is a patient experience specialist here also at Rothman. So we, being that this is the third year we've done this episode, had to definitely step our game up. So we'll talk to them about, being married, working at Rothman, and of course, play our yearly Newlywed Game. So I actually, usually at this time, I'd like to, Dr. Vaccaro, you've been on the podcast a few times, so no introduction needed. I always like to say, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here at Rothman. But actually, I just kind of want to go right into it. So we pre-production, we were talking about last names. So I was asking you, how do you want to be introduced? So I was like, do you want Lauren DeRitis Vaccaro? Lauren Vaccaro? Like, what was the preference? So let's just, tell us the story about that.
And I said that this is a topic of contention because Alex is upset that I never changed my name. So technically, I am Lauren DeRitis still. I never changed my name to Vaccaro. Okay. Although I love the name Vaccaro because, number one, it's Italian. I'm Italian. I get to keep that Italian, identity. But, and it's not for any reason that I didn't change my name. We'll be married 10 years. It's just that I just haven't had the time to do so in 10 years.
Okay, so let me correct the record. So right before we're getting married, Lauren said to me, "Oh, honey, we're going away out of the country. So changing my name would mean I have to change my passport. It's going to be a problem.
Right.
I will change it the second we get back from our honeymoon." It is now 10 years later. So it's like any type of relationship, you can never listen to your spouse because, honey, did you pay the bills? Did you give the taxes in? Sure, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You know what that means? Right. It's never going to happen. So you have to continue to ask. And then when you ask too many times, what happens? Then your spouse gets mad at you. Will you stop nagging me? So this is just an example of what a relationship is all about.
Or maybe, is it the second honeymoon you're waiting for?
I like that.
No, but we are going to do a 10-year
so this year will be 10 years, so we're planning to renew the vow. So I was going to make that my big gift. Ooh. But so here, we work together.
Off the press.
Yeah, right.
Well, that information.
So are we going to do it in the country, out of the country, local destination?
Keep it easy. Yeah, keep it easy
So
for everybody to come. Yeah.
Within the city or outside the city?
I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
But the other thing is, we work together, so
I
like to keep my own identity here.
Yes.
I deal with his patients sometimes, so I don't want them to,
So with that being
feel
said,
a certain way.
She wears a mask to dinner and sometimes a fake mustache. So I got to figure out what it's all about. But I'm learning. Keep on asking questions. So I'll learn more about her.
So with that being said, because you do deal with this patient, so explain a little bit about what your position here is at Rothman.
So this May will be 20 years that I'm here at Rothman. And when I first started, I was the front desk supervisor. So I worked at our front desk, and then I moved into marketing shortly after, I think after a year and a half. So I've been in marketing ever since in various different roles. So currently I'm part-time. I'm only 3 days a week, which is perfect. It's a nice balance between home life and, taking care of the kids and everything. But then I also get to do my thing and work with my wonderful team here at Rothman. So I work on various marketing projects and then overseeing our physician reviews and their online reputation and things like that.
So let's talk about it. Where and when did you meet? So how long ago? So what's the history?
Yeah, so we met here. So
are we the only ones listening to this podcast?
Yes.
Why do you say that? There's nothing to hide.
I'm just saying.
Why?
There's maybe a lot of interested outside parties that may listen to details that will get other people upset.
Oh, in what way?
This is intrigue. This is a podcast. Can we have background music right now?
Why?
Okay, no, I'm just, okay.
All right. All right. So maybe how long have you known each other?
So 20 since I started here.
Okay.
Yeah. And, so like I said, I worked at the front desk, so I really didn't interact with him directly. Well, and I'll tell you this, when I first got the job, I honestly had no idea what orthopedics was. I was like, I need a job. I don't care what it is. I don't know what orthopedics is or whatever. So I start working at the front desk and I see these patients come in with halos. I don't know if you're familiar, but years ago, patients that had spine surgery, afterwards, they would literally drill holes in their skull to keep the spine straight. And these patients would come in with these halos on. And I'm like, holy, what is these are some real deal doctors here. And then I saw Vaccaro, and I just thought, I was so proud. Like, yay for the Italians. We got a nice Italian spine surgeon.
Let me ask you a few questions. When you first saw Dr. Vaccaro, what did you say to yourself?
I thought, he looks just like JFK Jr.
Oh.
Well, look behind you at that picture there with that thick head of dark hair back there.
Did you know she was going to say that, and that why you popped in that question?
I always thought
did you ever say to yourself, wow, I wish I can go out with that guy? When you didn't know me?
No, I didn't.
You never, so you had no thoughts of maybe someday
he
we'll
was
date.
married. He was married. And he was much older than me. He still is.
Wait a second. A lot of people may not agree with that.
So no, there was never that. And then, our lives, we had our own lives for
you barely
the first,
interacted.
Right. For the first 10 years that I was here, I never, there was nothing other than he was doctor and I was whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets divorced and gets crazy skinny, and everyone was a little concerned because he was so depressed, poor thing. And then out of the blue, I get a phone call from him, and I was in my marketing office, and I see it pop up. I'm like, hey, Dr. Vaccaro, how are you? And he was like, oh, no.
Because you refer to me by, like, Dr. Vaccaro, how impersonable.
Well, she didn't know you. Like, right. I mean, she didn't know you. She's just like, it's a very
my picture comes up, and instead of having my picture, I have a big heart with a Cupid arrow through it.
But you called her.
I made that up.
So anyway, he's like, listen, I wanted to see if you'd like to go out for a hot chocolate.
Because I don't drink coffee, and I don't
like to go
to dinner.
And you didn't want to spend the bucks on a dinner.
No, I don't like to go to dinner because if you're on a date and you're like within 9 seconds, you're like, I need to leave this dinner.
He's not wrong.
I'm not doing a dinner.
No,
it's never
agree.
going to happen. I recommend to everyone listening to this podcast.
Yes.
Have a coffee, have a hot chocolate, do not go to dinner. Because if you got to get out,
get out of jail
quick.
fast.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying. It's a common sense column that I'm running at the Rothman Institute.
Yes.
So anyway, I was seeing someone at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm flattered, but no.
Right.
And then that stayed for 2 years. Nothing happened for 2 years. And then he got word that I was single. And then he asked to have another hot chocolate. And then here we are. I didn't right away. It was like 3 times.
That's right. Good for you.
It was like, because I didn't want to get involved with somebody at work. And then, he had baggage. He had an ex-wife and he had children. And listen, you never know.
Listen.
And my thing was, I wanted to get married and I wanted to have a family of my own. And I was like, he's moved on. He's not going to want that. But I have to say, the baggage was a blessing.
Yes.
For all of its reasons. His children are wonderful. We have a great thing. I adore them. And even, I love his ex-wife. I mean, he's probably going to want to edit that out. But I do. We have a really good relationship. Yeah. And, he's learned from his first marriage. And I think that's what makes our marriage, even better.
Were you... I mean, like you said, he asked you still, even then, you were kind of like, no, it didn't happen right away.
Right.
Were you ever concerned about that perception of you working here and then his role here? Like, what was that like now? Because I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
Like, navigating
I was such a nervous wreck. Like, the first... 3 to 6 months, I was a nervous wreck. Like, I didn't want anybody to.
Yeah.
And he would think, he's who he is and I am who I am, no one. And he'd be like, oh, let's meet up for lunch. Like, no, I can't just leave and go. Nobody takes lunch here. I can't go to lunch.
What is lunch? What time is that?
Like, no, that can't happen. Oh, why? No.
Yeah. Dr. Vaccaro, what do you think? Were you ever...
Well, to this day, if you see Lauren walking down the hallway and you say, hi, Lauren, who are you married to? She goes, I'm not married. So she hasn't really gotten over it yet, but she's coming out of herself.
I mean, to her defense, and always, it's the last thing she leads with. So it's never, you would never know. Unless she announced it,
I think I'm a private person. I like to keep my
it's complicated.
Business,
So as the president, in general, in any type of work environment, you frown on husband and spouse relationships. And so we had to make a lot of safeguards. Number one, you have to let HR know. You have to learn how to manage it. An employee can't be a direct report to someone they're related to. And then we made a rule at the Rothman Institute that if you're married, one spouse can't have a managerial position over anyone else. So Lauren does patient experience. She does a great job. And I feel bad for him. And she got angry at me. I said, listen, I'm the president now. So the rules are this. If you want to stay at the Rothman Institute, it's your choice. But you can never have a management or a leadership position because people below you will feel uncomfortable because I'm the president.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
she told me to screw myself and then threw a few things at me. But she's not a good aim. And she's a bad arm. She's not very athletic.
That doesn't even sound like her.
But she was very upset about that. And I get it. And I said, listen, it's just that we just can't have that at the Rothman Institute. Everything has to be full disclosure and people can't feel uncomfortable. So to this day, I think we've sort of answered the question why she hasn't taken my last name. We rarely see each other at work, and she does a great job. People come up to me all the time and they compliment me about her, and they don't even know I'm married to her. And of course, I play dumb.
Nice.
I always go, I say like things like, "Who is this woman? What does she look like?
What does she do?
Is she
good?
single? And I always lead. And then when they say the wrong thing to me, I go, "You're fired." No, I don't do that. No, but I like to laugh and stuff like that. So it's been and plus I get to see her once in a while, so it's good. But we don't have time. Because I'm a surgeon to go out to have lunch because we're always operating.
And she's honestly like equally part time, but she's.
I would say she's smarter than I am. She has more common sense, and she has a greater heart than I do.
Oh,
no, she does. Dear. And which I have to tell this story. Okay, can I tell the story?
Tell the story.
I don't want to. Okay,
tell the story.
We go to the Super Bowl. And we have extra tickets, and we find out we have extra tickets, and we
find out the night before
the Super Bowl,
we have extra tickets.
And the first thing I say to myself is, "Oh, we have these extra tickets," and people call me, "Hey, can you get me tickets? I'm willing to spend." $4,000, $5,000, so much. I'm willing to give you $15,000 for Eagle tickets. So I go to Lauren. We have extra tickets. I said, why don't you put them on StubHub and sell them? We can make, whatever. And she says, why don't we give them away? A friend of mine knows a child who's 18 with cancer. Why don't we give it away? And that's classic of my wife always thinking about other people. And I said, sure. I said, and I go, you've got such a good heart because I'm a typical guy. I have an extra pair of tickets for the Super Bowl. You know how many beers I can get for that ticket?
Correct.
You know how many? I mean, I could go out.
Yes.
We could.
I'm a typical guy.
We can go out and we could take all the docs out and party. And she said, no. And she called someone with cancer. That person got on an airplane, flew right out, and it was one of the greatest things in the world. So I have to give her total credit because when they see that someone got something from Dr. Vaccaro and Mrs. Vaccaro, they always think the guy did it.
Mr. DeRitis.
It was actually Mrs. DeRitis' idea.
Yes.
I'm getting upset saying Mrs. DeRitis, but it was Mrs. DeRitis' idea. She gave the ticket, so she gets 100% of the credit.
Oh,
absolutely.
No. Well, it was a team effort.
That was. I mean, that's an amazing story. Just working alongside Lauren day to day. Like, I really know who the brains of the operation is. So.
And the only downside is she does look a little bit older than I am. But if she exercises more.
No, he exercises every day.
Do you? What's your workout routine? Do you work out together?
No. Well, I try to get him. So I used to teach Pilates.
Okay.
So we have a couple reformers at home. We've been trying once a week to get on there together, but it doesn't always work out.
I do a fake workout.
What's your fake workout?
I have a desk that has a cycle underneath it, and I do my email at less than 1 mile per hour. And I have a speedometer, and if it hits 2 miles per hour, I said, listen, you're overworking yourself. So I slow it down a little bit. And but
at least he gets himself into the gym. I can't even make it in there.
Well, it's bragging rights. I say I worked out today, and people say, well, how come you're not sweating? And I go, it's my technique.
Yeah, right. So wait, okay, I want to talk about, so what time every day do you get up again? Because this is fascinating to me.
No, I have a severe sleep disorder. I mean, I do. It's not healthy. I usually wake up and I look at the clock. What time, Lauren, do you think I look at the clock and I try to stay in bed?
Probably like 2:30.
2:30 in the morning. And I don't get out of bed until 3:30 in the morning. Is that crazy?
So how do you deal with that? And what's like...
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Really?
Once I'm out, I'm out. I'm an early person. Like 5 is my time.
I have it. What I do is I reach over, I turn off the alarm. The alarm is a backup because I have to travel a lot. So sometimes I go overseas.
And the scheduling.
So if I go to the Middle East or something, I don't want to wake up. So I turn it off. I walk right to the bathroom. I shut the doors. I turn the lights on. I, brush my teeth and so forth. Then I go right to the gym, and then I work out. I do my fake workout for 40 minutes, and then I come up, take a shower, and I have my first business meeting at 5 a.m. every morning. So 5
the time that she's getting up.
Yeah, and then but Lauren wakes up early now. I mean, you wake up.
I always do.
I would say 40% of the time I see you before I leave.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not too much of a.
Yeah. No.
All right. How do you maintain like the quality time with a surgeon schedule.
So
and a president schedule. So you have all that to deal with.
So I learned, it's funny. You have kids and you think things are going to change for everybody when, they do, but the mother takes on, a lot, and your whole life is turned around and your schedule is completely turned around. And I just had this assumption that after we had our first baby that, I would see Alex more. And Alex would maybe, I don't know, put him to sleep one night or something. And
what about
it? I learned, and then you just learn and you accept and you adjust, okay, well, that's not how it's going to work because he still has, everything that he has to do.
Right.
I need to figure this out. And then after we had our second child, then it was like, okay, I need to do something to try to create more of a family time together. So I literally block on his calendar once a week, family dinner. I go through 6 months in advance and I block that out once a week. And then I make sure like all the important things. I mean, we pretty much have, advance notice for a lot of different things. And as much as he can go to, he'll go to. He goes to just about all the basketball practices.
Are you coaching?
I help out. So what I do is I always have a 7:00 dinner meeting because people fly in from around the country. So I'll go home. I'll torture my kids. I make them all. I get them away from the computers, the iPads, the Nintendos, and I come home. I get home about 5:30, and I'm like, okay. And then we go to the gym and we work out or we do some activity. I try to do that, and at 7:00. I split, and all my business dinners are 45 minutes. So it sounds crazy.
Hot chocolate.
I know. No, I actually, but I literally walk into a restaurant, and it's like 5 restaurants I go to, and I just rotate them. And I walk in, they know my order. I walk in, they serve. You get business done pretty quickly. And then, you don't drink, and you just get out. So I come in, and then I'm home at 8:15, and then I'm there to put the kids to bed, and they don't want to go to bed. So there's a normal fight at night to get the kids to bed. So we go through the same routine, and then the kids come back into our room maybe 3 times during the night.
When they were little, I would say, tell them a story, a nice story. And then he would always had to be a scary story. And they'd be coming out screaming, like real nice. We want rainbows and cupcakes,
right?
And,
and unicorns.
Happy thoughts before bed.
Best advice for couples that work together at the same organization or just work at the same organization?
Well, I know what I'm going to say, but I'm curious to see what you're going to say. So go ahead. Or you're stumped, and then I'll take it if you're stumped.
Yeah, you take it.
Well, many different things. Number 1, never make anyone around you uncomfortable. Golden rule. Number 2, never get into any type of family discussion, any personal things. Never bring that into the workforce. Number 3, even though you want to behave appropriately, you never want your spouse to see that you're not like getting to a fight with an employee or reprimanding an employee or being in a position where people may feel uncomfortable around your spouse coming up and going, look, I just saw your husband fire somebody or something. You know what?
Yeah.
So these are all things that you want to do. We don't have that problem because I think we both have sort of a personality where we get along with people and we like to joke and laugh. We're not jerks to people. So we don't have a relationship. So I think that number 1 is make everyone around you uncomfortable. And therefore we have rules that you can't have 2 people in power positions in any organization. Either I have to leave or she has to leave because that would not be fair to the employees. So with that situation, I think it works.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I was going to say, don't air any personal feelings. So we've had that happen a couple times. Luckily, we don't work together that much on projects, but when we have, sometimes it gets a little, sometimes people don't want to tell Alex certain things because he is who he is. And I feel like I can tell.
Yeah.
So Lauren is a voice. She'll come up to me and say things that people are afraid to say to me. And I'll look at her and I go, oh, that's interesting, but that's not going to happen. Just like, that's just can't happen.
Right,
I said, but I appreciate the fact that you brought to that my attention, but in order to run this business, we can't do that. So she'll be a representative of the people. And I appreciate it, but I always listen to her. So whatever she says, she'll say things to me that maybe other people are afraid to say. So, and I appreciate that because we have a good communication with each other.
I mean, and bottom line, like you've been here 20 years yourself. So it's not like you just started 2 years ago, 3, whatever it is. Like, so you have a good pulse of this organization and being in the many positions that you've been in. And so it's very
so true.
Yeah. So I think you're able to kind of see both sides coming from the employee and then obviously in your position now.
Feedback.
Yeah. So I'm sure people do appreciate that. Anything to add on? I know we're going to play our little game. Our Newlywed Game, but it's 10 years. But anything else to add?
Yeah. So one thing, and I told this to Lauren, I always say that she's so much smarter than I am, and she has the ability to be the president or CEO of any organization. I would hate to see her spend more time away from the house, but I think this woman is going to go places when she decides to go places.
Oh, look at you. Well, I'm not going places here, I guess, with that rule.
You actually have to go someplace.
By the way, I'm considering...
Am I getting fired right now?
I'm considering stepping down and giving my position to Lauren.
Right.
I mean, if someone's going to run the organization, it might as well be her.
No,
so
thank you.
I wouldn't mind that if you're going to pass the torch to her.
Oh my gosh.
Anything else, Lauren, before we play our game?
I do want to say, I see Alex firsthand of all that he deals with this organization, and it's coming up on 10 years that you're president.
Woo.
Right? This year will be 10 years. It's a lot. I mean, you can see, he started with dark hair and a little bit of gray sprinkled in. Now it's the opposite because of the stresses of the job. You look at any president of the United States, when they come in, they have dark hair. When they leave, it's the stress. At first I was like, oh gosh, maybe it's me because we got married the same year he became president, but it's not me. It's
the correlation, the timeline kind of adds up.
But it's a lot. I mean, imagine having over 200 doctors, that work for you, that all have issues, the phone is non-stop. It's non-stop. And Alex, answers everybody.
Yes.
Answers everybody, responds to every email.
Yes.
And which also, we have some doctors here that you email them, no response. You call, no response. And I'm like, hey, if he can do it, so can you. Are you guys listening out there?
Any pending emails out there, please respond to Lauren tomorrow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he deals with a lot. And I think he's taken from his time here, we went from more of a local regional practice to a national organization, I think, in your time here. And, you've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, dear.
All right. This is where it's going to get a little so because we're going to see how well you both know each other.
Okay.
So we ready?
Yeah.
Any final words before we start this game? How we feeling about how well you know each other?
Lauren, I love you and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy V-Day.
Oh, see, this is why we had to do this episode with the two of you. All right, ready? So again, we're playing the Newlywed Game.
Okay.
I sent you both ahead of time that you had to answer some questions about your spouse, although one of us might have tried to ask for input from Lauren, but you guys answered them by yourselves, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So
I can attest to that.
Awesome. All right. What is your spouse's favorite color? Lauren, what is your favorite color?
Green.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Okay. Already.
What did you say?
Red.
He said red.
I do like red, but green's my go-to.
She says all the time to me every night before she goes to bed, I like red. So I just assumed, you just said you like red. So I just assumed that was the answer. She didn't say, I prefer my favorite color, green. She just said, I like red a lot. That's why I'm just, for the guys out there.
Lauren, what is his favorite color?
I said blue.
It has always been green.
Do you both have the same favorite color? We didn't know that.
I like green because it's always been green. And every night, how you talk about sometimes your spouse doesn't listen to you before I go to bed at night. I go, I love you, I love the children, and my favorite color is green. And here we are.
Favorite color has never been a topic of conversation, I guess.
Eagles are green, grass is green.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, the score is tied 0-0. All right. Dr. Vaccaro, what is Lauren's favorite restaurant? Or Lauren, I'm sorry. What is your favorite restaurant?
Okay. I do have a lot, but the go-to that I love is the saloon.
Okay. So I love the saloon too, but I said the Philadelphia Country Club because we eat there 8 days a week.
Dr. Vaccaro, what is your favorite restaurant? She already answered.
Okay. So I would have to say the saloon because I like the saloon a lot. What did she think my favorite restaurant was?
So many, but he can always count on the Capitol Grill for a good steak.
Okay, so I love the Capitol Grill because I've never had a bad meal there. So I recommend that to everybody. But there's ambiance to the saloon.
Yeah, I know.
It's a nice Italian restaurant.
We love the
Everyone is so
saloon.
good. I do the same thing.
Big plug for the
I get
saloon.
the Langostinos to start, and then I go with a lobster franchise. Although I just got diagnosed with celiac disease, so you can't eat gluten. So I can't.
So the saloon isn't very accommodating for those with celiacs. They don't have gluten-free pasta.
So it's tough for me right now. But before I knew the diagnosis, 2018, lobster franchise is unbelievable. It's lobster dipped in batter with crab meat on the side.
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
The food is great.
So I can't do that much anymore.
All right. Well, we both have the same restaurant and the same favorite
That's
color.
what I'm so confused on how the same color, the same restaurant.
Okay, what's the next question?
Okay. All right. Lauren, what would you say is your best personality trait according to your spouse?
I think making people feel welcome. Smiling, making people feel welcome.
I said kindness.
He
right?
did say kindness.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's kind of.
I think we said the same thing.
Nice.
Yeah. What would you say?
What do you think I said about yours? You're gonna die when you hear what I said.
I'm gonna say what it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I over-communicate and effective communicate.
Oh, what I said.
Because I always message exactly what we need to do multiple times. Because the one thing I can't stand is when people said, "Oh, I didn't understand what you were trying to get me to do. I didn't understand what you wanted to do." So as a surgeon, if I want someone to put their finger on the aorta that's bleeding to death, I have to effectively communicate. Put your finger on the aorta, or this patient will bleed to death. I don't want people to think, I really didn't know what you meant.
Uh-huh.
So
Didn't
here we
mean
are.
it or not.
So
Okay.
I always say to the kids, to everybody, I said, listen, let me exactly explain what I want, and I go over it in detail.
So this is my favorite part. So yes, obviously. So she said that he over communicates. He lets me know every day.
That's true.
So okay, we got one. All right. So all right. We're picking it up a little bit. All right. Lauren, what is your favorite junk food?
I don't really have a junk food. Yeah. What? I mean, gum. Is gum considered a junk
No, it's
food?
not junk food. You don't eat it.
I chew gum like crazy.
Okay, so
I'm a chain chewer.
Are you?
Okay, so I said to myself, she doesn't eat junk food. The only junk food I ever see her eat is reaching over everyone's plate to eat their French fries. So at every meal, every kid gets a French fry. So she's always reaching over and eating the French fries.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
fair.
look at that. That's
The
what I
bag
said
fries are the best,
So,
right?
so you always do that. Now, I never ate French fries because I do the fake workout. If I ate French fries, I'd be obese. But now I'm doing it because Lauren does it. So that's what we do at the end of every meal. The kids only eat 1/10 of their food. And my kids are not getting bigger. My kids are very small.
Right.
And they're not eating enough. And I always say to my wife, I go, why don't we just order one meal and divide it among everybody? Because I'm going to order all these meals and no one ever eats. So we end up eating their food every night.
What's your favorite junk food?
Yeah, what's yours?
I like ice cream.
Not here.
I put sunflower seeds.
Well, I chew those on the side of the football field. But on a normal day, you can't eat sunflower seeds inside the house because you have to spit the seeds out. But
I think so. Your assessment of you just eating them at the football field is incorrect because she said sunflower seeds. He leaves trails of them wherever he goes. So I guess
I don't really eat them.
I can actually show you a picture of a seat at the football stadium.
Yeah,
they were.
It goes. So it seems like it extends past the football field, is what I'm saying.
When you're standing on the sidelines, I chew them because you're standing still for 5 hours as a team doctor. So you're just eating the sunflower seeds and you're spitting them out. So it's better than chewing tobacco. That's what everyone else does. I think that's disgusting.
But he does love ice cream.
Okay.
Loves to end the day with ice cream. Vanilla ice cream.
Favorite band or artist?
That's easy for both of us.
I mean, the Beatles.
Okay, Beatles for me.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's so easy for you. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and think about who you are and who do you love.
Like Sinatra.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It plays in my house 21 hours a day.
Really?
I play the old music. I love Ella Fitzgerald and.
Yeah, I don't get the Sinatra thing. I mean, I think he's great. I just don't get it. I mean,
I like that kind of music. That's my. Yeah.
No, she does. She loves it.
I feel like it puts everybody in a good mood.
Harry Connick Jr.?
Love Harry Connick.
So she likes that sort of voice. I'm into the Beatles. I'm into classic rock and roll.
Okay. Well, you're both correct on your guesses. All right. Who's tidier? Who would you?
Definitely
okay, well,
me.
yeah.
Not even. By the way, that was a bad question. I don't even belong in this.
So I just, because when Lauren elaborates, I like to just say it. So it says me with tons of exclamation points. Alex is not tidy by any means.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Who is more adventurous?
Definitely
That's
him.
not even a question.
Yeah.
And the problem is our daughter, who's 6, is taking after her mother, and it's driving me crazy.
Why? And how? In
She
what
just
ways?
says no to everything. Let's go skiing. Let's go rock climbing. Let's do this. No. And she says to me, Dad, Mom doesn't do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Wait, but
And that's exactly, if Mom doesn't do it. So my son goes with me everywhere. And I go, because Lauren doesn't like any athletic activity besides dancing. Is that correct?
Correct.
and what
I
was
said
the explanation here?
I said my favorite outdoor activity is going back inside. I hate any kind of outdoor activity other than walking, sipping a cocktail, sitting by the pool.
That's outside.
Looking
So
at the
we were
water.
at the Super Bowl. I planned 20 activities, rock climbing, all that stuff.
It's never a vacation.
So she's like,
No.
so I said, we're going to get these extreme ATVs on cliffs in the desert. And she goes, I'm going to go to the pool and have a cocktail. So she didn't go with me. I had to go with my daughter. We almost got killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to play it safe.
Yeah, so Lauren does absolutely nothing, and she looks great.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I'm just not adventurous. It's not my thing. I'm too scared.
Yeah.
I like to play it safe. Why
Absolutely.
put myself at risk?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Okay. Your spouse's favorite TV show. What do you?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? What is
did
your
I think
show?
hers is?
No. What is yours? And we'll see if she guessed correct.
Well, I do the same. I'm a man of habit. I do the 3 television stations every night because I don't have much time. So I start off with Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, and then I get angry at all 3 of them because they all lie and don't tell the truth about the politics in America. Right and left all lie.
Right.
So then I go to Saturday Night Live, and then I'll look up at a comedy and watch a comedy guy to crack me up. And that's pretty much what I do every night.
I put whatever Anthony, your OR tech recommends, because he'll come.
My South Philly OR tech watches. I don't even know how he does this, but he watches every movie. And I said, listen, I'm into adventurous CIA movies, James Bond,
Action-packed.
I like to see.
Yeah.
I don't like to see horror movies. I like to see like
he likes action.
I like action, a lot of fighting and stuff like that. I just like to like that.
Yeah.
So and he sends me these movies.
Yeah.
And they're good.
So like.
You
He'll
like
come
him
home
too.
every week. Yeah.
All right.
If I could
Jack
get him.
Ryan, all that stuff.
All right, but
The
he
Reacher.
had a specific guess for yours. So what would you think?
Saturday Night Live? No.
What series? Well, I looked at it. What
Ozark?
series? Yeah, it's Ozark. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So I hit it.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I know, Ozark was great. We loved Ozark because it was violent, but not too violent.
I couldn't get into it in the
was
very
scary.
beginning. I was like, ooh.
It was
Yeah.
scary.
But then I got into it.
But like
yeah.
Breaking Bad, like we like kind of, but
Okay.
we haven't done anything recently.
I know. We got to get I have a list of shows that we have to watch.
But we don't,
but we just haven't
we don't have much
gotten there.
time.
Yeah.
I get back 8:30. I go right to putting the
And
kids to
I'm
bed. 9:15.
exhausted.
I'm waking up at 2:30. So we basically hang out and then we fall asleep.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Who does the most cooking and who is the better cook? It's A and B.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay.
Well, neither one of us like to cook. Neither one of us have time to cook. She does a lot more than I do. And she's really good at it. She does 2 meals that are phenomenal: her chicken dish and her salmon dish, and her pasta dish.
Oh, 3.
I used to do the pancakes, and I was pretty good at that. But I'm home only on the weekends to cook.
Well,
yeah.
You're good,
okay.
dear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I like.
That's what I said.
by the
That's what
way,
she said.
When I was single for 5 years, I became a pretty good cook.
So
Then
what
I got into
happened?
it. Then I got married,
Oh. All the
You don't
more
have to do
reason.
it anymore.
and then I was out. I was not cooking anymore.
Yeah. So I said, that I'm not really a great cook, but I have my go-to dishes. But you are the weekend breakfast guys. And that you're a master griller. You love to grill.
What do you grill?
So when we have barbecues,
Steak.
yeah, he'll grill it all.
I like cooking things. But again, there's no
His
time during the week.
vegetables. Yeah.
This is the content that people need to know about
Yeah.
both of you. So
What else? Any other good stories? that we
yeah,
could
anything?
tell?
Last call, anything?
No, I just want to say that these have been the happiest 10 years of my life being married to Lauren.
Oh, look at him. Oh, he's like laughing as he says it.
At this point, we'll have a close-up.
He's trying so hard.
There's a tear going down my left cheek right now.
Gonna make it like force it a little bit. Anything for you,
gosh.
Lauren? Last word.
Oh, no. I just feel very blessed and lucky to be married to Alex. He's a wonderful husband and an even better father. Well, he's a great husband, evenly. Great father, great husband. Always puts his family first. And I have to say, like, when we first started dating, that was one of the first things, just seeing how he was with his kids, you know, just very open, and they were very close, talked just about, you know, every day, and got together. He makes it a point to see his kids as often as he can, and that's important. He's a good family man. Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun. So it was just really just kind of talking and laughing with both of you. So.
Alex, I just want to thank you for, I think this podcast, I love it. I love listening to it.
Thank you.
I know.
Yeah. No, you do a great job.
Thank
and I'm
you.
going to be upset when you go national and you displace all the other podcasters. And then you go have your own talk show. And then run for office.
I know. I always feel like he's always kicking me out.
No, Alex is great. I always tell Lauren, Alex is great.
She's amazing.
Stop it.
And the bottom of it, you should have a t-shirt that says, you get it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
you
that.
Get it. You get it.
Listen.
You get it.
Well, honestly, you both are seriously the best. So I have nothing.
This was so much fun.
This really was. And I know this is not an easy conversation. I'm sure no one has ever like, hey, let's sit down and blast all of your business to the public. So honestly, thank you for doing this.
Of course. I feel like we weren't as entertaining as
this was.
I think. I feel like there's so many like great
that
stories. I know. I feel like there's some good things that we didn't really even.
Experience. We're not that exciting.
I disagree. I think people are gonna love this, and people, you know, and you tell the story on your terms, and people, you know, like I was saying, it's like people who, if they never knew, now they will know. And then, because again, both of you don't broadcast it. It's not one of those things that you lead with. You're not like, oh yeah, hey, my wife Lauren, or vice versa. All I knew when I first met him is that you went to Drexel. That was the first thing, because he knew I went to Drexel. And he said, but I never knew that you worked here, and he never said that. He just said, oh yeah, my wife went to Drexel and she's super smart. And he did say that, and that was almost 3 years ago at this point. So, and he's right. So, but again, thank you both again.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers.
Have a nice day.
Happy
Valentine's Day.
Happy
Valentine's Day.
I'd like to thank Lauren and Dr. Vaccaro for joining me today. Please visit our landing page, rothmanortho.com/podcast for all available episodes. We're on all the major listening platforms, so Spotify, Apple, whatever your preference is. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share on whatever you utilize. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, take care.